ठीक है, बढ़िया। Good afternoon, everyone. I will look to call this meeting to order, the third meeting of Infrastructure and Corporate Service Committee. From our agenda, please check the city website for additional meeting detail information. The City of London is situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Lenape, and Attawanan people. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. Today, I'm joined in chambers by Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Van Meerbergen, and Councillor Frank. And online, we have Councillor Pelosa joining us as well. With that, I will look, one more thing. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication support for meetings upon request. To make a request specific for this meeting, please contact icsc@london.ca or 509-661-2489, extension 2425. With that, we'll go to item 1, disclosures of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, I'll look to item 2, which is our items for consent for today. I have not been asked to pull anything yet at this time. Looking to committee if there's any requests. If not, I'll look to someone to craft a motion. Councillor Van Meerbergen and Councillor Frank. Thank you. And we have a mover and a seconder. I'll look for discussion. Councillor Van Meerbergen.
Thank you, Chair. 2.1, I wanted to confirm that this is indeed a Canadian company, if I could, through staff.
Thank you. And I'll look to Ms. Barbone to direct that question, maybe elsewhere.
Through the chair, they have a mailing address in Ontario. We would need to look specifically whether or not that is, but certainly they are within a couple hours drive and were successful through the RFP process. So we need to go back and take a look specifically to see if they have any U.S. Part of their company.
Okay, so as far as we know, they are Canadian. Would that be an accurate statement?
Through the chair, as far as I know, they are located here in the province.
Because I think, as we all know, the environment that we're in right now and the threats that are being made against us, not only as Canadians, but indeed as Londoners, demands that our procurement give first priority, obviously, to Canadian companies. At this moment, could you tell us roughly how many contracts we currently have with American companies?
Ms. Barbone.
Thank you, through the chair. So what we have to be able to pull information very simply is mailing addresses and where the locations are. So the challenge that we run into is that there are U.S. companies that do have American addresses, so that the definition of local becomes a little bit more challenging to define in terms of what it is we're specifically looking for. With respect to overall vendors, what I can tell you is that when we did a search of the vendors that we have in our system, less than 0.1% have addresses that are located in the U.S. So a very, very finite number. When we did a more specific search on the City of London, about 63% have addresses that are located within the City of London, and that does not include the neighboring areas. We looked specifically for London. So overwhelmingly, the majority have addresses that are in fairly close proximity. That does not, of course, mean that they are not potentially U.S. in some manner. So that's where I think from our intents and purposes, we can tell you that the addresses are certainly very local in nature. Typically, That might mean perhaps in a lot of cases that they are local, but it may not cover all of them in that case. So just doing a quick search on this company, they're out of Thornhill and they appear to be a smaller firm. So I believe they are primarily Canadian. But certainly when you start doing the digging, there are other nuances that can be found that may be more problematic to define when you're going through a procurement.
Counselor?
Really appreciate that information. At least what we're able to determine now, it's quite small, like it sounds like less than 0.1%. Obviously, things are really fluid at the moment. We will know better probably tomorrow morning. But obviously, this is the direction I think that we're going to have to start looking to as we move forward. And I think the mayor has got some plans that he will unveil as well. So I just wanted to get that information up front, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Timely and appropriate. I'll go on to Counselor Hopkins, and I noticed Counselor Hillier's online as well, so welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks to staff for bringing forward some of these RFP agreements that we are going to be approving this afternoon. And it's amazing how the conversations are out there when it comes to tariffs and trade. And I look at these recommendations at committee now in a different light, given the conversations. And I too am looking forward to the mayor's comments later on today as well, but I'm just following up on, and I'm just going to make a few comments regarding most of the consent items, but in particular, our RFP process, just coming off an AMO board meeting last week where it was a very important topic that municipalities were discussing on how we are going to move forward, not only in Ontario, but also in Canada. And AMO is coming out with a resolution, and there's one thing for sure, AMO and its members stand ready to play our part in protecting our shared social and economic prosperity in Ontario and Canada. I think that was something that every municipality stands behind. And again, every municipality is going to be coming forward with some response or a resolution on behalf of their municipalities. I think I'm also pleased to note that I understand we are probably going to go through a review of our procurement process. So I'm pleased that staff are ahead of the game a little bit too, in terms of really having the information and understanding what we can and can't do here as a municipality, not only in our procurement process, but boy, we do own a lot of infrastructure as well, and how we take care of that is also going to be another conversation that we're going to be dealing with. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Just looking to any other members of committee or anyone online for any additional comments on the consent items? Seeing none, we'll open the vote.
Closing the vote, motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Looking to move on in our agenda, we have no items for scheduled items, we have no items for direction or deferred matters, additional business that I've been made aware of. So we'll look to go to our confidential items. We have 6.1, land acquisition, solicitor client privilege advice, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations. 6.2, solicitor client privilege advice, litigation, potential litigation, and 6.3, labor relations, employee negotiation, items to deal with in camera. Looking for a motion to go in camera from committee. Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Van Meerbergen, and I'll open the vote.
Closing the vote, motion carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you. I will go to Councillor Frank to report out from in camera.
Thank you. I'm pleased to say that progress has been made on all matters that we went in camera for.
Thank you, and with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Hopkins, super fast, and then Councillor Van Meerbergen as a second. All in favor by hand.
Motion carries.
Thanks, everyone. Have a